Hey folks, I'm going to try something a little bit different for this release of the Zone, which changes a ton of things about the ending and hopefully makes it more streamlined and more atmospheric to give you the finale that your game deserves. So here we are at the center of the Zone. Everyone except one player has died or mutated or turned into a weird tree or something like that. And the final player has just done a short flashback, bringing back their obsession to contextualize the wish that they're about to make. So here we are. I'm the final player. I click here, and nothing has changed here. I'm able to type in a wish here. I kind of pre-filled it with something that some of the astute fans of the genre might recognize from Roadside Picnic. And let me switch to Thorensen, who is that final wish player. Only the final wish player can continue after typing stuff in. So they would say the wish out loud so everyone can hear it and have a chance to reflect on whether it feels right. And watch what happens when I click this on both the left, which is the original, and the right, which is the new design that I'm about to ship. So on the left, the transition happened immediately, and it's got this very generic kind of the final judgment, and this very key thing is below the fold. On the right, we took our time and we slowly introduced with gravitas, it's not so easy, which is a phrase that you will have been using over and over during the game because it's a phrase that you use when you're trying to decide whether a character succeeds or fails at something hard. And when they make that call, they get not so easy cards, which then decide who has the most narrative control in this endgame. You're about to see them show up again. So what I wanted to do is more clearly tie in this endgame with something you've been doing the whole time, and also slow it down so that you could feel the impact a little bit more. So when you start the judgment, what we're trying to do here is use all the not so easy cards you gathered to decide what happens to the final player. So on the left is the way that it used to be. The players who don't have any not so easy cards have no influence, and then we go from the lowest to the most, with the lowest not so easy card holders just influencing the decision until the final player decides what actually happens with the wish. So I had this concept of an influence, and you would click on it, and you have this slightly vague text that say, hey, describe what you hope will happen. Radic may choose to incorporate this in their final judgment, which is like, okay, but it's just a little bit vague. Like, you're not sure exactly how important this influence is going to be. On the right side here, what you'll notice is that unlike here, the card has been very clearly added to the set of cards that you have to choose from. That the final player will get to choose from. So it's no longer this very vague influence. It's really just you're giving them a card. And it's also kind of a little bit cleaned up. I think it just looks quite a bit more polished. So now if we look at it from this perspective, when we switch to Shepherds, you can see what it's like to do it here. This is all, by the way, the same game. It's one is controlling the other. The two are compatible with each other. So here it's similar, but I think it's a little bit clearer. So Shepherd, choose which card to give to Radic. Radic is the final player. Here are my 3 cards. What I'm doing here is I'm saying, here's the wish. Do I want it to come true? So, yes, and definitely yes. Everything's fine. Yes, but there's a complication, or no, and something even worse happens. So let's go with the negative one. Shepard, describe your suggestion of what will happen in the wish. I think this copy is subtly different, but much clearer. And now we get the final wish, and I will switch to Radic on both of these views so you can see what the choice looks like. I feel like there's a lot going on in this screen. This just feels like you're doing the same thing as the other players. It doesn't feel like the final. Whereas here, I've removed a lot of the noise, and you've got a stack of cards that are bigger to represent that it's the bigger final wish, and you are choosing which one is going to ultimately define whether this wish happens or not. So, let's go with no but. We got the final thing. Animated straight away in the previous version, but now it really takes its time, and it used a similar animation to Not So Easy's that you had previously in the game to get back into it. So I just wanted to share some of these little details. I feel like they really, really add up. They make the experience more clear, and most importantly, I'm really trying to do two things. One of them is tie in every single thing that can be tied into something that came earlier, so that I'm not introducing new concepts. I'm building on something the players already know. And then two, for the things that are supposed to have more dramatic weight, to give them more space and time to land, because you've been playing for a few hours, and the ending matters so much to how you walk away from the experience. So I just want to slow it down and make it feel like the weighty thing that you have all created together. So anyway, hope you dig it. Come check it out. By the time you see this, it's probably already live. And it's at thezonrpg.com. This is a new thing for me, just recording videos like these, so I'd love your feedback. And have fun. Go have weird, magical, realist adventures in the zone.